Welcome, everyone. I'm just starting it up. Okay?
Yeah, let's go.
So here I am. I'll step in today and do a little hosting until Calandra gets here. But welcome to Full Spectrum Cannabis, everybody. We'll get this started. I'm going to mention our sponsors.
Yeah.
Because
we should, right? We got to pay some bills.
Yep. And
they're not all paid. They're not all paid. So please, if you have some sponsorship dollars, some budget remaining within the fiscal, don't know when your fiscal ends, but a lot of them end like mid-year. Time to spend some money. We're a good place.
I like it. I like it. And this is a dollar for dollar. This, our audience chooses to listen to this show.
Right.
You can't find a more effective place to spend your money. You can look this up. There was an article in the New York Times about the effectiveness of, it was political. It was political advertising and how podcasts have really changed that because people do buy things off of podcasts. But anyway, here we go. Full Spectrum Cannabis. We're going to thank Legend Technical Services. You can reach out to them for all of your testing needs. We've got Canopy Accounting, obviously, for your cannabis business accounting needs. We've got Shulman, Buskey, Reams. Guess what they do?
Lawyers.
Law.
It could have been accountants
Cannabis law.
too, but that sounds like a really big accounting firm if you got
Shulman,
three names.
Buskey, Reams.
Yeah.
That sounds pretty.
Yes, for sure, lawyer.
That's Jared Reams, right?
Yeah, it is.
And we've got CannaCon, the greatest cannabis expo in the universe, is what I like to say.
Yeah, I love that.
I can't imagine there's a better one.
I know.
In the universe.
I've been to a few, but I don't know that the few are better.
The universe is big.
It is huge.
So I don't know. There could be, but in my experience.
Yeah, well, it's your world that you're speaking from.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right. And then last but not least, our friends at Auroch Canning.
Oh, Auroch.
Auroch. It's I say it differently each time.
That's great. You get to say it how you want to say it too. It's AUROCH.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And
say it how you want.
They are your favorite co-packers here in Minnesota for whatever co-packing needs you may have.
Yeah, you need to put something in a can. You need to put something in a little bottle. You need to, I don't know.
A baggie too, I think.
Oh, baggie? We'll figure that out. Maybe.
I think they do.
I bet you they do.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yep. Anyway.
Hit them up and find out.
Oh, boy. And we've got a guest.
Who's here?
At Canopy Accounting, we're not just accountants. We're specialists in the green. Led by Nikki Roloff, a seasoned CPA with a passion for the cannabis industry, and the team at Roloff Associates, we provide comprehensive accounting services tailored for cannabis businesses in Minnesota. From seed to sale, our expertise covers every financial aspect of your growing business. Legend Technical Services. Legend is a locally owned and operated private laboratory that has served Minnesota's analytical testing needs for over 30 years. Legend has provided Minnesota's hemp and cannabis industries with invaluable testing services since the inception of these programs in the state. Do you need a legal resource to navigate the ever-changing laws controlling the cannabis industry in Minnesota? Shulman, Buskey, Reams is your partner in cannabis law. Our experienced attorneys can help you form a cannabis business, apply for cannabis business licenses, draft policies and contracts, and fight for you in court, all at a much lower cost than our big law competition. Visit sbrcannabislaw.com for more information. That's sbrcannabislaw.com. Shulman, Buskey, Reams, experts in a budding industry.
Hello, friends. Have you ever heard of CannaCon? Are you in the cannabis industry or interested in the cannabis industry? CannaCon is the nation's largest cannabis convention, and we are lucky enough to have it happen right here in St. Paul. Come learn about what's new in cannabis. Come see for yourself that cannabis is about much more than you think. CannaCon offers something for everyone. Whether you are new to hemp and cannabis products or have some, let's say, prior knowledge, come see all that these dedicated and hardworking professionals have to offer. From beverages to sleep aids and everything in between, CannaCon is the place to be. Auroch Canning is a Midwest canning co-packer specializing in small to medium-sized batch runs for non-alcoholic and hemp-derived beverage brands. They provide cold-packed and carbonated aluminum cans, 12-ounce sleeks, along with a variety of other services to get your product to market. Look them up online or call Jake at 763-312-0177. That's 763-312-0177. This episode is brought to you by Fat Nugs Magazine, where the art of cannabis culture meets world-class first-class journalism. Come explore the fascinating world of cannabis and plant medicines through stunning photography, immersive art, captivating design, and thought-provoking storytelling. Check them out at fatnugsmag.com and see why the entire industry is fascinated by their work.
Oh, I have to introduce?
Yes.
That's your job. You're the show
No, it's
host.
not.
Lynn. And last
Wachtler?
name?
Wachtler.
Wachtler?
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. I didn't want to screw it up. You know. Hi, Lynn. How are you?
What's
Good.
up, Lynn?
You guys know I'm shy because we already talked about that. How
we
shy
did.
I am, right?
You
And-
talked the podcast before
Yeah.
the podcast?
Yes, the podcast before the podcast, we sort of did a deep dive into all things.
You weren't shy
universal.
then.
No, I was not shy because I did not have a microphone. But
Sure.
like I told you,
isn't-
I'm working on visibility, being more visible, working on my throat chakra,
Right.
like we were talking about.
Yeah.
So so I've had working with some crystals. No, I'm just kidding.
Great. That's all
Yeah,
good.
hey, that might
Whatever
work.
you need to do.
I do have a crystal in my pocket. I
great.
don't know what it does,
I
but
think I have one today.
I don't have
I
one.
have a rock normally.
Yeah,
I have a couple of quarters because I'm transferring them between my house and my car. But I
we
forgot.
already talked about capital.
What have you got
too.
there?
Here, look at
if
this.
you don't mind.
No, it feels good. Like I usually have a rock in my pocket just to, if I get shy or some social anxiety and
Sure.
and I don't have access to plant medicine, I usually have a rock around.
Well, because that's, grounding.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Because what are the rocks that move through the sky?
We're on one of those rocks that moves through the sky.
I know.
Well, or
Or
I don't know.
Or it could be an
Is
asteroid.
it the sky, the universe?
Is it
or
the
is
universe?
The sky
I don't know.
only the atmosphere
Yeah.
on our planet? I don't know.
Either way, we're not even recording this, so I don't even know how you could be nervous.
Yeah.
Sam's like, oh, everything's recording. Okay, good.
Better
good.
be.
Everything's recording.
I had to
Yeah,
check.
it's kind of a deep conversation for 10 o'clock. Usually I don't take meetings before 11 because I have this morning ritual of dog care, a whole lot of coffee, and some stretching, and then meditation in case anything comes through from the universe.
Yeah.
I've been working on
Throw
that.
up the old universe antenna
Yeah.
in the morning.
Yeah, but no, I think a lot of people just intuitively get downloads, but they're not thinking them as downloads.
Yeah.
It's just tapping into the collective consciousness, right? So many of us get the same idea at the same time. It's because we're tapped into the collective consciousness. And I think when you work with cannabis, it's an easier connect,
Sure.
right?
Yeah. Can I tell you what I want to say about that? And,
Yes.
and get through it so it won't actually be offensive in the end, I don't think.
So it's not too woo-woo for your audience.
Well, the thing is,
I can't wait to hear what
I'm
he
a little
says.
woo-woo, so I'm just going to say it like, yeah.
but I.
Well, let's
I-
have some. We're going to have some fun. This is
Yeah, I
gonna
mean,
be
I
great.
grew up in, I grew up in a lot of different places, but I spent a lot of time in good old Elk River, Minnesota, which was pretty rural and pretty conservative for the most part.
Sure.
And the woo-woo talk like that, I just know for a fact that had you said that to, like any of my uncles or something,
Yeah.
30, 40 years ago, 40, 50 years ago, I'm 50 now, so let's say when I was a kid, they'd have been like, oh, listen to that load of crap, right? And you kind of have that in your head, but as I've gotten older, the way you describe it may be a little more woo-woo than I'm used to, but I know exactly what you're talking about because I get those little things that come through, and if I don't write it down, it's gone. And I know that other people are thinking them, and I feel like I'm tapped into the universe, but I would never describe it that way because of that early childhood experience.
Yeah, the social conditioning, right?
Yeah.
But when we really think what is inspiration, right? Just look
Yeah.
at the word, I think a lot of our ideas are just divinely inspired. I mean, look at your last name. Like,
Oh,
I'm just
there you
going to
go.
say it.
Yeah.
It's probably no coincidence you're here on the planet. I mean, so as what we were talking about earlier, some people call it source energy, the divine, just universal energy. There's something there. As a nurse and medical professional, I've seen it many times, especially, as a nurse, I always say we are the guardians of souls coming and going, right? So there is that universal energy around that time.
Yep.
Babies take their first breath. People, when they're passing, take their last breath, so it's what is the universal life force, I guess, that makes
And
us.
those are heavy moments.
Yeah.
I've been around
right?
for both. Yeah.
Yeah. So, we're talking, as we were speaking about earlier, so deep, right? So early in the morning. But yeah, I'm that's how I roll. I probably could have been a philosophy major. I spend a lot of time sort of in my own head thinking about things. And as I'm moving into this next chapter of my life, I'm trying to think less and just move more with my heart and intuition,
And are you trying to get what's going on in your head and the thoughts and the energy? Are you trying to get that out to people more? Is that why we're getting you comfortable with being on camera or on mic?
Yeah, I think we're in profound times of change, times of uncertainty, times of fear. And I think for people who have a lot of earth wisdom or knowledge to share or have been through some very difficult and challenging life experiences, I don't want to keep that private anymore. Just not speaking from ego, but that perhaps a life experience I had could potentially help someone else.
Yep. I understand where you get the ego. The fear of letting the ego get in the way keeps you from putting your own voice out, because you think, the only, people who are comfortable in front of cameras are comfortable getting their voice out into the world. It must be an ego-driven thing, but it's not always. Sometimes you just have things that you need to tell people, and how many people see the things that you make and then are so appreciative that you had took the care and time to even say them.
You don't really know until you know, right?
Yeah.
Like it'll feed back, right? And if it is ego driven, people will see it as ego driven. But
You'll hear about it.
But what we should maybe the space that we should exist in is that person sharing.
Yeah.
And how lucky are we that they're sharing with us, right? And if we think of it that way, then maybe we would be open to receiving things, right? From the universe or from other humans, or all is the same, right? But getting on camera, right? Like, who knows?
Well, we're so story-driven. I mean, we humans, we learn empathetically from stories, and so we watch television, we read magazines, books, we listen to podcasts, we sit around and tell stories with each other. Like, we're super into the story stuff. And if you're not, in the absence of you putting out your story, it just won't exist. If you don't do it, it's not there.
Yeah. And think of thousands of years we've been telling stories, ancestrally, those stories handed down from our ancestors and the things that they went through, the things that they saw. Those stories are so powerful. I said goodbye to my uncle recently. He was 99 and a half years old. So my dad is the baby at 90. He's still with us, but he's had some profound health challenges starting in January. And shortly before that, we lost my uncle, 99 and a half. He served in World War II and Korea, both.
Wow.
And then their middle brother is 98. He served in Korea. And then my dad served as well. So I have spent the last couple of years just in my new life of having a little bit more time and navigating with a little bit more just heart-centered presence. I have had these Sunday lunches with the brothers. They're all widows. And I've just been writing down, stories that they've shared. They all grew up in Mendota. So very connected to the Mendota, Dakota tribal community over there, and learned that, my family's farm was on their land, and just the intersection of their stories, my family's stories, how we're all interconnected, so beautiful, But so I've made a point to record all their stories, and my uncle did pass. My uncle passed in November. He was doing wall push-ups at the age of 99 and a half and had an aneurysm. So
that's a way to go.
They're very stoic.
That's awesome.
They're very stoic, these veterans. And but it's important to, that's what the magazine is about, telling people stories. And when we're gone and there's two generations after us, what are the stories and the legacy we leave behind in what we're trying to accomplish on this earth, And so I've been thinking, I'm not the youngest woman around in the industry. I'm really thinking about my legacy and what I want to leave behind and what I want my kids to remember their mom, did. And I just really want my kids to say, she navigated her life with love. She just helped people through storytelling, helped people, in her nursing career. It's really very simple, right? When you really think about it, what we're here to do,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you've been a nurse. You're now in cannabis. You're doing this. How about like my mom was a prolific user of AI, and she generated a whole bunch of stories with AI. Would that?
Your mom?
No.
I got it. Oh, yeah. My kids.
Would that work for you?
No, I don't think so. Although, okay, I am learning. Have you messed around with AI at all?
Understand it.
I know I took it a weird direction there.
But understand it and use it as the tool in which it exists for, right?
Yeah.
Like you can do all sorts of different things. Like I have to put out press releases. I don't, but I should be.
Yep.
And I'm missing out on some opportunities and some, just media that exists and connections that I don't have that can become connections because of said press releases.
Yep.
Well, I've never wrote a press release before, right?
Yeah.
So if I'm using AI to help me learn how to write a press release by saying, I need to write a press release, because you can just start right there and it goes, about what?
Let me help you.
Right? Instead of giving it, because at some point in time, what you're going to do is you're going to be able to feed AI the right things to, like commands, let's call them, right? That's what they are. So you've got to feed it the right command in order to get it to do what it needs to do. And then you need to make sure there's still a human voice there. Yes. And as long as you're going through and you're making this what your own is, right? Grammatically, not grammatically, however you want to do it, but put something together. Now you're able to get this one thing done that you weren't able to get done. Or the Postal Service sends me an email with all of the tracking numbers and they're all going to this one spot, but there's 6 things in there. And I'm like, how am I going to do this thing? And I will go down that rabbit hole and it will take me longer than it's supposed to. I'll get distracted 6 times. I'll do 3 other things while I'm doing it. And then I'll finally send the tracking number, right? But I copied and pasted the whole darn email, fed it into ChatGPT.
Oh, yeah. I
said, remove everything but the tracking numbers. Boom. I was done in seconds.
Yep.
So,
and now put these in the right place.
But no, you probably don't like that.
It's crazy. So, no. Well, okay. So I love how you're using ChatGPT to make your life more efficient. And I have learned that too. Okay. So type in job description for compliance officer, for example. But I use my ChatGPT to say, what did I do in my past life? And the things that came out of ChatGPT, okay, I didn't do this during my work day. This is on this is on my free time. But apparently I lived in Italy.
Okay.
And I was an herbalist and community healer and worked with the population. I was also, it gave me a whole lot of information.
I can't wait to go ask this question.
No,
now.
It gave me a whole lot of information. And quite honestly, the things that it told me, I've had similar, this seems familiar. I feel like I've been here before. There's a reason why I like stones and bricks, I think, so much. Yeah. It told me I lived in like a little stone villa. And I was like, what a cool life that was. And just working with plants and helping my community heal. I was like, well, that's not too far off from what I'm doing now, but it had it gave me, apparently I've been here many times, but it was super.
Who knew how much you could find out about yourself?
And my sister-in-law did this too. Hers has a name. So
her past life?
No,
her AI
chat,
does.
She asked it its name, right?
Yeah.
And then I think I asked it, well, okay, if I've done all this, like, what about my parents? My dad had an extensive past life. He did, and and I have not told my AI, like, there's not a lot of text that it could use, or my dad's not online, but it gave me this whole huge story about my dad. And I said, well, who is my mother? And it says, sorry, we don't have any information for you. I mean, it was, I don't know what it,
Lynn, I love this.
I don't know. But
I can't wait.
I'm just saying, you with your Gemini energy probably have two at least, like, things that you could do with AI, because you're the twins, so you're gonna get probably something really cool. I want to know later when you type into your chat GPT what it tells you, because it was super fun. I don't it's just playing around, right? We get so stressed out in business.
In a lovely direction.
I love it.
I mean, we are like, we're like, oh, we got to pound it out, grind it out, drive the revenue, like multiple revenue streams, like how do we monetize everything? And I'm like, no, I'm just going to ask ChatGPT what my past life was, just because I need a little downtime,
I had a purpose, and I didn't know that was going to go that direction, but I had a purpose in asking that.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and it was because this is the magazine that you are directly involved with.
Yes.
Correct. What's your role?
Recently, I've been calling myself community outreach, director of community outreach. I'm sort of the connector of all things, all people. So I bring it to shops, dispensaries, talk about it on podcasts, work with Angelique to sort of help shape the next issue, find contributors, things like that. I actually have a real role in the magazine.
Yeah.
And we make sure we are talking science, because actually when people say, gosh, there's no education around cannabis in our state and there's all this chatter, I like to be able to say, yes, there is. Actually, there's scientists writing in here. There's dispensary owners. There's brand owners. There's our community. Community. This is a community publication. We're all writing in here. So there is education. It's in a magazine. We hope to, expand our offerings, and however that looks, we're just staying open.
Yep.
So the North Bloom magazine, for those that are not watching and only listening, that's what Sam was holding that up.
Well, and the reason I asked was because earlier you said, we've got so many contributors putting their stories in here, and that once you sort of immortalize a story or a message in a magazine like this. I would say in a certain sense you do on a show too. But once it's in here, it's there. And so the reason I was asking about the AI was because I think this is the anti-AI in a certain way, right? This is what I think as we watch the AI grow, I don't think it's terrible. I don't know. It could destroy the world. Maybe it won't. Who knows? And it's great for getting certain things done that you otherwise wouldn't be able to do. We've had new tools come out all the time that help us with that stuff. But we lose some of our humanity when we don't actually write our own stories. So passing on to your kids, if you were to use ChatGPT to pass on to your kids stories about your life, that would be cheating in a certain way, right? But if you're genuinely putting your stories out there, I love that. And that's kind of what this whole thing is all about.
And Angelique works so closely with the contributors to really bring their voice forward. The attention to detail and care that, I know we've been kind of joking, but the attention and care when she has a conversation with a contributor, it's just so very heart-centered, authentic, and people are really being vulnerable. They're starting to really share the personal side of themselves. We so often see the professional side that we present, in a public-facing space. But we're trying to dig a little deeper and, bring forward some of what makes us human, right? Our vulnerabilities, the things we struggle with. We know in business, and especially in cannabis right now, it's not easy. It's so hard.
It's difficult.
It's very difficult. And so I think if we can just be more genuine and share our vulnerabilities, we do better as a community, right? We were talking about this last night. There was a nurse event, nurse and mental health event. And so there were some speakers, and we were really talking
Where was
about
that at again? Was it at the Warrior Garden?
Yeah, Warriors Garden, Nick Ron's shop with the comedy. He's got the comedy
not
club.
been.
Oh, it's
I've
lovely.
been only a couple of different
Where
times.
is it?
Just trying to get my product.
Yeah, Lower
in there.
Town, St. Paul.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's why.
The old Seasteads
The old Seastead.
location, which then was a Chuck and Don's for a little bit, and then now is the Warriors Garden.
I always tend to make fun of the relationship between St. Paul and Minneapolis because I live on this side of the river.
Right.
So like, oh, it's over there. Yeah, that's why I don't know it.
Seems so far away.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
whatever. It's
You're gonna
so
make
far.
I mean, I'm almost crossing the river again once I get there, aren't I? Because I'm just right there.
Been over there 6 times this last week.
Yeah.
I just
Busy.
yeah, it just seems like
Get around.
well, there's always this little bit of it. The folks from St. Paul do the same thing with Minneapolis. Like,
Oh, yeah. Like,
oh,
this
that's a
is
whole
scary.
different world. I don't go over there.
Yeah.
No.
A different other side of the river.
Now that I found this new route over here, though, I'm going to come just
Oh, the
for
River
fun.
Road is
Like,
exactly the right way to go.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
Why,
On
I
both
mean,
sides.
I've been living in St. Paul. I went to St. Kate's.
Oh,
You
yeah.
so we used to run the River Road, but in St. Thomas,
Yeah. Right.
like from St. Thomas to St. Kate's and around.
Yeah.
But I guess, on my travels over to Minneapolis, like if I got to go to, say, Canna Joy, for example, or
Right.
some of these other shops, I go the boring way and sit in traffic.
Oh,
and
no,
then I'm
don't do
so
that.
frustrated. Like now I
Spend the extra
Yeah.
5 minutes.
Yeah.
It doesn't even take that much longer.
no, so now I'm wondering, how do I talk to my phone and tell it to bring me the scenic route?
Plus, now we
how
told
can
everyone.
Gosh, everybody's
Yeah.
They're going to be doing it now.
No, it probably took the same amount of time, or maybe 5 minutes more. It took me 23 minutes to get here from St. Paul.
I do it
And-
all the time. It is within 5 minutes. You know?
as far as taking that route.
Yeah. I mean, you might even be a little faster sometimes. Depends on what you hit. But
Well, it depends on how many people are crossing the road, right?
Yeah.
It's
Yep.
really all it comes down to is like, are you being stopped for pedestrians or bicyclists that need to cross that busier road during more of a rush hour?
It's not worth taking it though. We don't want them
Yeah.
all to
Oh,
take
yes.
it.
I
Yeah.
forgot we were going that direction.
Yeah,
You
no,
just stop
no,
it.
it's not.
Now then, River Road's beautiful. Don't drive it.
There's a lot of construction.
It's the worst.
The potholes.
tear.
Oh, the
Yeah.
squirrels.
Yeah.
There's like killer attack squirrels and turkeys all over it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rabid raccoons.
Raccoons and rabbits.
River is
and-
terrible.
Oh, you look down
Pollution,
there, it's
just
scary.
trash in there. Like no
Yeah.
reason to go that way.
Yep, graffiti on the bridges, and so you don't want to do it.
No.
You don't want to do it.
No.
Lynn. Well, I think that was silly.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. So okay. So the magazine. So
It's grittier. It feels grittier than the last one.
it's got a little
feels
different feel
grittier.
to it.
This is Angelique's fancy cover that
Yeah.
she likes.
I
So-
like,
and
I like the
it
fancy.
too.
I like the
No.
fancy cover too, but I'm more saying that it is
No.
a little tiny grittier, little more gritty than it was the last issue.
Look at
And
all the names
that,
in there.
I think that's fun because I mean, how do you make it the same level of grit every time when you're using? I don't know. It's fun.
I don't
I just
know.
like how gritty it is.
This is Angelique's.
He's talking about the tactile
This is
nature of the
Angelique's
cover.
design.
Oh, yeah, right, the cover.
Intentional design choice on this cover, and I don't know. Maybe it's because the cost of paper went up. They had to do like
They had to go even grittier.
maybe.
I
like
don't know. But-
and you could be referring
amazing.
to the articles in it too, getting grittier and grittier.
Yeah, and I noticed
that's
this
true or
one.
not.
This one, the art in this particular issue. Someone mentioned to me the other day that the art in here is just drawing them in, and
Is this an article on nettle pesto?
yes, that would be Gislin.
Are we talking?
Where's that even
actual
grow?
nettle? Like stinging nettle, the kind that makes you itch?
That's what it
Well,
kinda
she
looks
says
like.
handling raw nettles requires caution.
Gosh,
like
she's so
as a
smart.
as a farm kid, we would get into a patch of nettles, and like with our shorts on.
Oh, yeah, for
and
sure.
my mom would go, "Why were you in the nettles?" We didn't know they were nettles. Like you learn the hard way. It's like life, right?
My
you
kids-
learn the hard way. So,
My kids played a game a couple of times up north where they would find the nettle and then they would smack each other with it.
Oh boy.
And I think Well, first of all, they're boys.
Oh, yeah, I got that. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
just,
I mean, that was exactly her reaction to it. Was oh boy.
Yeah, and I mean, not that girls don't do silly things, but whacking each other with nettles. I know that's not a common one. But anyway, the thing, what I liked about those two and the way they approached this sort of thing was they knew it was nettle. They knew it was going to sting. They'd already been exposed to this at some point in life. They knew it would subside. So they just wanted to see what it would be like. They're like, well, you only live once. Whack away.
experiential learning.
That's right.
So powerful, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Is this a recipe you only eat once?
No. No.
I just whipped my throat and tongue with nettles.
No, Ghislaine is very safe with her.
I'm sure she is.
I've eaten
her?
I've eaten her food. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I have. Ghislaine's lovely.
And that's a name that always throws me off.
Ghislaine.
Sorry. Either or. She's right, not me. But I mean,
Ghislaine?
I call it Ghislaine.
Yeah,
That's how I was introduced.
It's a lovely name.
Yeah,
it's just difficult to know whether I'm pronouncing it correctly or not.
Yes.
Right.
Well, we should get her on your podcast. She's hilarious. She's very funny.
As far as I'm concerned, everyone should be on the show.
Yeah. I know.
We're working on it.
The photos in here are beautiful, and I love it. And so you spent a lot of, I suspect, at least I would hope, because we're almost halfway through at this point, that Calandra will be here any minute. So
yeah, me too.
I think we'll take a little break since we need to for the big camera.
Ooh, yeah.
And we'll let Calandra arrive, or if she doesn't, I'll come back and I'll ask you questions about your nursing career and whatever else you've got. Whatever. I don't
Sounds
know.
fun.
Cannabis industry stuff.
Let's keep going. Okay. Oh no, we have to take a break.
No, right. Are we going to look up ChatGPT when we come back?
Ooh.
When we come back, Lance will tell us what his past life was on Chat. No, I'm just kidding.
We might.
Man, maybe.
Let's find out.
Maybe.
Let's find out. I'm going to have to verify and agree
idea.
with it a little before.
You know, another thing I heard about the old AI these days is that so we humans, we're so interesting. We build this thing that looks through billions and billions of documents and learns from those documents how to recreate natural conversation and stuff. And I think it's awesome. But now that it's been around, a year or two, a year-ish with ChatGPT, there's enough AI generated stuff going back into the system that it's starting to make itself dumber. Yeah. Because it's it's starting to train on its own product. Oh, it could be trouble.
Yeah.
All right.
It's going to be great to find out.
I hear the door. We've got our Calandra. So we'll take our break and come back for the second half, and I'll just be a voice off in the distance where I belong. All
Beautiful.
Right. At Canopy Accounting, we're not just accountants. We're specialists in the green. Led by Nikki Roloff, a seasoned CPA with a passion for the cannabis industry, and the team at Roloff Associates, we provide comprehensive accounting services tailored for cannabis businesses in Minnesota. From seed to sale, our expertise covers every financial aspect of your growing business.
Legend Technical Services, cannabis testing and technical consulting. Legend is a locally owned and operated private laboratory that has served Minnesota's analytical testing needs for over 30 years. Legend has provided Minnesota's hemp and cannabis industries with invaluable testing services since the inception of these programs in the state.
Do you need a legal resource to navigate the ever-changing laws controlling the cannabis industry in Minnesota? Shulman Buskey Reams is your partner in cannabis law. Our experienced attorneys can help you form a cannabis business, apply for cannabis business licenses, draft policies and contracts, and fight for you in court, all at a much lower cost than our big law competition. Visit sbrcannabislaw.com for more information. That's sbrcannabislaw.com. Shulman Buskey Reams, experts in a budding industry.
Hello, friends. Have you ever heard of CannaCon? Are you in the cannabis industry or interested in the cannabis industry? CannaCon is the nation's largest cannabis convention, and we are lucky enough to have it happen right here in St. Paul. Come learn about what's new in cannabis. Come see for yourself that cannabis is about much more than you think. CannaCon offers something for everyone, whether you are new to hemp and cannabis products or have some, let's say, prior knowledge. Come see all that these dedicated and hardworking professionals professionals have to offer. From beverages to sleep aids and everything in between, CannaCon is the place to be.
Aura Canning is a Midwest canning co-packer specializing in small to medium-sized batch runs for non-alcoholic and hemp-derived beverage brands. They provide cold-packed and carbonated aluminum cans. We're talking the 12-ounce sleeks, along with a variety of other services to get your product to market. Look them up online or call Jake at 763-312-0177. Again, that's Jake at 763-312-0177.
This episode is brought to you by Fat Nugs Magazine, where the art of cannabis culture meets world-class journalism. Come explore the fascinating world of cannabis and plant medicines through stunning photography, immersive art, captivating design, and thought-provoking storytelling. Check them out at fatnugsmag.com and see why the entire industry is fascinated by their work.
So this is the second half. I am starting it. It is done. I just did it.
You just started?
I started it with you guys having your little side conversations. It doesn't matter. We're just starting it up.
Nobody cares.
Because otherwise it doesn't go. So welcome.
It's about sleep.
I just opened this up. Look at this.
I was going to ask you, do you use anything to help you get in the sleep mindset? Or?
Oh,
I
Gummies.
think we're good.
I think we're rolling.
Second half. Here it is. Go.
All right.
How else are we going to do it?
All right. Well, we're black.
Yep, we're black.
Yeah.
Yep,
But
here we go.
This time you got me.
Second half.
The second half.
Second half or Calandra's first half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's great.
So I'm looking at Bloom Magazine. We've got Lynn Wachtler here.
We do.
And we were just talking about sleep during the break.
A little bit.
I think
About how
that,
you were going to sleep. Because
I am.
maybe Lynn wondered if you sleep sometimes.
You're
so busy.
If I have a good gummy,
Yeah.
which is pretty much every night, or
Sure.
some type of THC beverage, then that's when I get the best sleep.
Right.
Otherwise, if I don't take a gummy, like I am up every 2 hours.
Really.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, just a little more restful with your gummy. Sometimes when I have like 2 gummies, then maybe I don't sleep as well, or I sleep super, super well for like 4 hours, and then my body's like, "You're ready to go," and I'm like, "No, I'm not."
Well, here's the difference. Women going through menopause or perimenopause,
Yeah.
we appreciate sleep much more than you do.
No, I appreciate it too. I'm angry with my
Really?
mind or my body whenever it's more my mind that wakes me up, and then I'm like, you want to know what? You should stop that, because otherwise you're just gonna stare at the back of your eyelids for the next couple of hours, because your body still needs to rest, dude. Like, knock it off.
Yeah, you
But
don't
that's
get the
only-
hot flashes though, right?
It really no. I mean, I
Thank
suppose that the covers are a little too. Yes, thank God, right?
Well, men go through menopause. I mean,
They do. Tell us more.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, tell us more about that.
You know, men have that sort of, the hormone levels are fluctuating. They're just different hormones.
Sure.
So, you know, we've kind of joked about it in healthcare, but I think it's true. I mean, all of the things, right? So loss of muscle mass, even bone mass, all of those other things.
Right.
Mood changes, sleep disturbances.
Having to get up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom. Mm-hmm. And I'm not even that old.
Yeah.
It's like, drink less water. I mean, beer. I mean, THC. But I mean, it's just fluid. Stop drinking so much fluid in the evening.
Well,
That prostate changes over time, and
Right.
that tends to be, so many men are up, for that reason. So
that's interesting.
So
both
eat a gummy,
sexes have
but maybe.
changes,
Yeah.
bodily changes
yeah.
that interrupt sleep, and sleep is really the foundation of good health. It's one of the pillars of good health, because to your point, all that regeneration is happening at night when we're resting. So we do really need to unplug, shut down. And, we coach people. What does that look like, right? We're going to bed 10:30, 11. We're scrolling through Instagram. Oh, how many likes did I get? Or did people engage with my post? When actually you should be like, how many sheep are like, or just doing some kind of a simple, guided imagery, guided meditation, whatever is a routine you can use to sort of calm your mind down to prepare for sleep. I think creative minds in particular have a hard time, with with that and settling down, we can just keep going. So it's stepping out of that loop, that thought loop, whatever it might be, the worry loop. You know, really, is there anything you can do at that point at 10:30 or 11 o'clock at night that's going to change anything? No. So it's just stepping into more mindfulness-based practices and thinking. And I always say, too, good sleep hygiene starts the minute you put your feet on the floor in the morning, right? So if we can dial back our nervous system throughout the day, then we don't have to put the brakes on so hard at night, right? So if we begin to step into a lifestyle that supports better sleep, you know, engaging in healthier work, less busy practices, harnessing the power of community so that maybe we're not all doing the same job. Maybe we can share resources a little bit so each of us can work a little less harder and support each other in that way. But so sleep, sleep is at the heart of so many health problems when you think about it. I mean, hypertension, just like all of the things, right? Increased cortisol, and the effects on the body of that. So from a practical standpoint, we need better sleep, better relationships, you know, all of it comes from better sleep. We're not our best selves when we're sleep deprived, you know? So
I'm glad this issue talks a lot about sleep because I would say between 60 and 65% of our customers at the dispensary come looking for sleep aid.
Right.
Like that's the first thing they talk about. They make a beeline towards the sleep display counter. And that's what we sell the most of is sleep gummies. So I'm really glad we're talking about this. Do you think that the political climate causes anxiety or causes people to lose sleep? And what can they do about it?
that is a big question. And we were talking about that a little bit earlier when I first came in. We were talking, just a little light politics and in our hope with the magazine to sort of take, just sort of remain neutral as much as possible. I will say in a PC matter, we're in times of profound political change, and there's so much anxiety and fear of the unknown, right? Because none of us really know what's happening, the effects of, I'm already seeing the effects of tariffs, just practical matter. Things cost more, things coming from China cost more. Can I afford that or not? To your point, I think, yes, there's a lot of uncertainty, fear, and I think, how do we support one another in this unknown time, of where we just don't know what the future holds, right? We used to be able to map and plan for things, and right now we're not able to map and plan. And I think as humans, we like that feeling of structure, planning, and right now we can't do that. So it is causing, I think, some profound anxiety, from what I've heard just from people asking me, telling me about their generalized anxiety, sleep, that kind of thing. So
we're definitely starting to see more people looking for gummies or drinks to help with that anxiety. Just so that their mind can rest. And I know you mentioned mindfulness. Can you talk a little bit more about how mindfulness will help with some of that anxiety?
Yeah, so that's a great question. Mindfulness, just the art of staying in the present moment, being present where you are. It's really simple, right? Because when we think about our to-do list of the day and how gigantic and daunting it can seem, my natural tendency is to be 3 steps ahead of my to-do list. But then I'm so frustrated where I am right now because I'm not in the future, and then I start worrying about the future. Like, what if I can't get to that place that I need to go, or I'm running behind, whatever it might be. And so it's an art I've really had to explore and put into practice. And it is something anyone can learn and benefit from. It's particularly helpful with people who navigate with a little PTSD and need to just be present in the moment, in the body. You know, we can become ungrounded and our energy scattered all over the place. So it's just a practice of being where you are, you know. So like, I'm right here with you and this is where I want to be. And I'm just, these moments this will never happen again. You know, this particular conversation will never happen again. This feeling of being together will never happen again. So let's make the most of it, enjoy it, have fun, just be with one another, right? So it's a practice of enjoying your food, you know, just slowing down and enjoying your life experiences as much as you can. You know, it's difficult when we have difficult moments, right? Mindfulness, because we want to get out of there, you know. So what does it mean to sit in the discomfort, right? We want to bypass, as humans, we want to bypass that discomfort, the uncomfortable feelings, right? Mm-hmm. But our bodies are so smart, our minds are so smart that they're not going to allow us to bypass to get to the next fun thing, right? The uncomfortable thing will stay with us until we actually process it. So it's, you know, something I've worked with a lot of patients. You know, I've done family practice, internal medicine, women's health, pediatrics, and it is the one practice, it's free, you know, like there's no prior auth required to practice mindfulness, and it can make a profound difference in your health. You know, when we think about the number of people we lose in this country due to workplace stress, 120,000 people a year. You know, we're not talking about the people who are dropping dead at their desks or on the weekend because they're just going so hard that they're not paying attention to their bodies, right? So we need to sort of dial it back a little bit. And I think there was some... No, I worked front lines in COVID, so my experience was quite different. But there were people who were at home with their families, playing games, just slowing down, right? Mm-hmm. And so I think this transition time into how did that time look for those subset of people who were actually engaging with one another in their little bubble of community. And now they're stepping back into a larger society, right? And we're having these transition issues, both from a societal standpoint, because there's, you know, we've had administration change and things like that. But just how is our body and our mind adapting to these changes? So, and the technology is changing so rapidly. To our earlier conversation about ChatGPT, AI, and some of these technologies, we're just in a time where we need to learn how to integrate these technologies in a more healthy way. Mm-hmm. Our teens and our kids, their mental health right now is unbelievably distressed. So what are we doing as adults and sort of protectors of our future generation and children, right? How are we engaging with them to help them learn to use these technologies in a healthier way? Mm-hmm. You know, I really believe that, you know, you can live a life on Facebook, Instagram, all the platforms, and really miss the beauty of the river coming over here or whatever it might be. Mm-hmm. So that's what I think about when I think about the future and our responsibility as leaders to really look around us and to think about, you know, what kind of legacy do we want to leave for future generations? How can we move those conversations forward? How we can find the other individuals that are interested in those societal shifts and changes, right? So how do we work together as building new and healthier communities? Mm-hmm. That's what I'm really interested in. And that's what cannabis allows us to do, because we're able to have these deeper conversations, you know, in how we might use cannabis as a tool, because it really does help you connect to yourself in so many different ways, whether it's sleep, having a better night's sleep so you can get up and do all of these things to build a better community, better communities, better earth. It's just such a beautiful plant, in that way.
Yeah,
So,
it can allow for you to focus. It can allow for you to have energy. It can allow for you to relax. It can allow for you to sleep. It can allow for you to run for longer. Not saying like it's not everybody, right? But some folks will be like, well, I ran half the amount, right? But for some, they're drinking a beverage and going on a run, and that 10-mile run might be a 12-mile run. And things feel a little bit better while that's happening. And then you're a little bit more restful after you've had that run versus, not. And then being like, well, there's that thing in my foot that still hurts,
Yeah.
It's a beautiful plant.
And I want to go back to something you said about the anxiety with young people and the pressures. We about 2 weeks ago, we lost a couple of great lawyers in our community, both of them Black men. But one of the men took his own life.
oh,
So what you said is very true about the pressures of young people, but it's also happening with young lawyers too, because he graduated from law school, I want to say maybe a year or two
I'm
ago.
so sorry to hear that.
But mindfulness is really important, and hopefully more people who are listening to this and are feeling like, that they should in their life or just feeling very hopeless will listen to what you say, and will certainly get some help.
Well, we talk about, in this article, we talk with Nick Ron about, he shares his story. He's very candid with his story regarding suicide. And it's something we need to talk about. When I worked with veterans, we had a lot of training around how to have those conversations. And prior to working with veterans, when I was in primary care or in some of my other practice settings, it really wasn't, we were never trained how to have that conversation, so it was never, we knew it could happen with our patients, but we never really received in-depth training to have those conversations. And when I work with veterans, in our training, they said the conversations we need to have need to be open and honest, and asking people more questions so you could sort of discern, do they really have a plan? What does the plan look like? And then you can sort of gauge what the risk is, right? And I think we do a disservice when when someone around us is really struggling. Have we ever asked those people, how can we support you? Or if someone is really struggling or having pain, have you ever thought about hurting yourself? Or, we just don't go there as a society. Right. We're so afraid of death that we can't even have those conversations with the people who are in our closest circle, right? So we might miss a family member who is having thoughts, who is really at risk, but we don't ask the question because it's uncomfortable for us, right? But in that discomfort, we really can save a life and get someone to the help they need. So that's why Nick sharing his story is so powerful. We need to talk about it. Healthcare providers and nurses also have double the risk of the general population. When you think about the burden that, attorneys or these professionals are carrying, lives are at stake. The profound responsibility of some of these professions takes such a toll, right? And then who do they ask for help? It's probably, I'm not sure in law if it's the same as medicine, but if you're in medicine and you raise your hand and say, hey, look, I'm really burned out here. I haven't had a vacation in a year and a half, or, we're just programmed to keep going. Mm-hmm. Just keep going. Don't stop. It's your you just focus on the patients. And I think that's why we're losing people. We really need to be able to say we're having trouble, and then not be punished for asking for help, right? If you're a provider up until, hopefully they're working on changing some of these things, but if you're a provider and you have mental health, therapy visits, or you're on, say, an antidepressant or something, when you are credentialed, you have to put all that down. And so it sort of turns into, a shame game, or people just hiding the fact that they've, seen a therapist or are having struggles. But post-COVID, who's not? I mean, we had healthcare providers, nurses, the healthcare professionals working 16, 24 hours. My call schedule was 24 hours on for 7 days straight. So, if you think about being woken up a couple times at night, people passing or needing something, you've got 7 days in a row where you're up the whole night, and then you run your clinic during the day. Is that really sustainable for anyone? And then, so it's just, I think, being more candid about struggles and about people's work, and just being vulnerable to our earlier conversation, asking for help, and it being okay to say, I'm not okay, I need a day off, And that's really sad, and it's just unfortunate. My heart goes out to his family. So sad.
At Canopy Accounting, we're not just accountants, we're specialists in the green. Led by Nikki Roloff, a seasoned CPA with a passion for the cannabis industry, and the team at Roloff Associates. We provide comprehensive accounting services tailored for cannabis businesses in Minnesota. From seed to sale, our expertise covers every financial aspect of your growing business.
Legend Technical Services. Legend is a locally owned and operated private laboratory that has served Minnesota's analytical testing needs for over 30 years. Legend has provided Minnesota's hemp and cannabis industries with invaluable testing services since the inception of these programs in the state.
Do you need legal resource to navigate the ever-changing laws controlling the cannabis industry in Minnesota? Shulman Buskey Reams is your partner in cannabis law. Our experienced attorneys can help you form a cannabis business, apply for business licenses, draft policies and contracts, and fight for you in court, all at a much lower cost than our big law competition. Visit sbrcannabislaw.com for more information. That's sbrcannabislaw.com. Shulman, Buskey Reams, experts in a budding industry.
Hello, friends. Have you ever heard of CannaCon? Are you in the cannabis industry or interested in the cannabis industry? CannaCon is the nation's largest cannabis convention, and we are lucky enough to have it happen right here in St. Paul. Come learn about what's new in cannabis. Come see for yourself that cannabis is about much more than you think. CannaCon offers something for everyone, whether you're new to hemp and cannabis products or have some, let's say, prior knowledge. Come see all that these dedicated and hardworking professionals have to offer, from beverages to sleep aids and everything in between. CannaCon is the place to be.
Auric Canning is a Midwest canning co-packer specializing in small to medium-sized batch runs for non-alcoholic and hemp-derived beverage brands. They provide cold-packed and carbonated aluminum cans, 12-ounce sleeks, along with a variety of other services to get your product to market. Look them up online or call Jake at 763-312-0177. That's 763-312-0177.
This episode is brought to you by Fat Nugs Magazine, where the art of cannabis culture meets world-class journalism. Come explore the fascinating world of cannabis and plant medicines through stunning photography, immersive art, captivating design, and thought-provoking storytelling. Check them out at fatnugsmag.com and see why the entire industry is fascinated by their work.
Well, thanks for sharing.
Mm-hmm. You're welcome. You're welcome. So did I miss the conversation about your gummies and about...
Oh, that was like the podcast before the podcast.
That was
but
the podcast.
We haven't even talked about how she has a gummy brand. No.
Oh my God.
Get into
Look
it.
at you coming in fresh.
Get into it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So some gummies.
She's got some great gummies. She's got focus. She's got social, and she's got libido, and we cannot forget REM to help with sleep. So REM.
Not
I love
rim,
it.
Because you did that right after libido, and then you said rim, and I was like, You didn't say rim. You said
You
rem.
didn't.
Rem.
You said rem.
Rem. R-E-M. R-E-M.
We're back.
So,
So gummies. Those are the gummies. What are they called? You seem to know a lot about this.
well, I kind of know a lot because I do take the REM to help me sleep.
There you go. You're taking some of those to sleep.
I do.
Right.
I take the REM to help me sleep. So why don't you tell us about, your line of gummies that I've just exposed these guys to?
Yeah. This brand of gummies, another woman founder, she created a lovely brand that I'm obsessed with. And I have taken those gummies and working to just, wider visibility, bring them to the people who need them. They're lovely. They're nanotechnology, fast acting, healthy ingredients, and just created with intention, and just the care and thought and intention behind her gummies was just amazing. They really resonate with a lot of people. I've enjoyed getting to know, being out, talking to shops. I'm out with the magazine. It's really been an avenue for me to both the magazine and then, having a gummy brand and then my brand, our topicals. It's allowed me to connect with people. And, that's my wider mission here on earth is to just, be out listening to people's stories, helping people, creating, my purpose in this world is to create beautiful things that help people. And so if I just stay true to my mission, it could look like a magazine, it could look like a gummy, a topical, a movement, a protest, educational materials. So I try to keep it sort of broad so that I'm open to whatever good things are coming my way or whichever way I can be most of service. Right. So if there's an opportunity for me to create more beautiful things that help people, I'm always game. Could be a garden. I've done a lot of gardening, opened a lot of clinics in my day. When I was a younger nurse and nurse practitioner, I was given a substantial grant for, especially as a young person, and took that grant under my boss's guidance. He was a wonderful, wonderful, just true altruistic person. And we built 2 clinics on the east side of St. Paul. And they've been there for years and years. They were part of the Hmong. A lot of Hmong in the 80s came from Laos at that time. Yeah. And so we built 2 clinics, took an apartment over and, turned those into functioning clinics. That was super fun. So, even when I was quite young, that's what I've been passionate about. And, just trying my best to live a life of service. I just feel really called in that direction. It's not something you talk about at a cannabis event or anything, but, I've had conversations with your husband, Mark. Yeah, we've talked a little bit about that and just, so.
He talks a lot, by the way.
Oh,
Shots fired.
Yeah, I have to tell him, stop talking.
You're like, stop it.
I'll say, hey, Mark. He says, I know, stop talking. Yeah. Because I'll be watching the movie and he picks the most inopportune moments to
say a whole bunch about stuff.
Yeah, I'll be watching Law and Order or something.
Yeah.
Which
is a rerun.
That's marriage.
Yeah, I know. That you can pause.
I'm not going to listen to Sam back there.
That's marriage. That's what everyone does. Interrupt your show.
So
when's it?
So annoying.
So if you had only an hour and 15-minute long movie, how many minutes would it take for you and Mark to finish it? This is a fabulous marriage question.
It probably wouldn't be finished that day.
Oh, see, because you started watching too late, or because there were so many interruptions that you ended up breaking off from the movie and doing something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or we're having a conversation so long, or he's talking so long that by the time he's done, it's bedtime.
Sure.
And about halfway through the conversation, I will pull out my phone. And now I'm scrolling on Instagram, looking at my likes.
I might as well do some things while he's.
Yeah, because then he'll start doing it too. And then like an hour's gone by. It's like 9:30, 10 o'clock. Now it's time for 10 o'clock news.
Yep.
I got to watch the news.
Gotta.
And then he'll start talking again. Then I'll pause it. And, by then Jimmy Kimmel's coming on.
Okay. I understand.
And now I'm ready to go to bed.
Mark, maybe don't interrupt the show.
Yeah. So then the next day I'll say, look, I didn't finish this, so I need you to shut up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then, you can kind of see him like he really like, it's like killing him. He wants to talk, but not.
We'll maybe extend a show by like 30 minutes, but not like into the next, like it's not running us into the next day usually, Michelle and I. But
we're watching movies on the installment plan.
It's bio breaks. It's grabbing a beverage. It's all of a sudden you decide you're going to have a snack. You want to eat a gummy. You're like, all right, cool. What's going on outside?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then,
and
then you're
like
back.
Or like we're watching a series, he'll start drinking, Green Elevator or Slay or Loon or some of these other ones.
Yeah.
And now he really wants to talk because he's feeling good. And I'm like,
gosh, he's working on his next homily, his next sermon, right? And over in St. Paul, he told me where his church is.
Yes, and here's the next guaranteed thing. I swear to you. So, I've drank probably half of my drink, right?
Yeah.
So as he's talking, and I'm like, okay, I'm listening to him. I'll turn it on. The news is on. I will slowly see his hand going towards my drink.
Yeah.
To finish it off.
I thought his hand was going towards your hand, and I was about ready to get super happy about this and go, "Oh, isn't that cute?"
No, he wants my THC beverage.
Oh, okay.
And then he'll do this.
Sharing the love, though.
No,
right?
then he'll say, "Are you going to finish
one of
that?"
You sharing the love. One person sharing the love. That's what's
no.
Going on.
He does this. Are you going to finish that? I'm like, no, Mark. But every time, you going to finish that? Yeah.
He knows. That's why his hand's over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gonna finish that?
I can't. So here's our activity for Mark, right? Is the next time that he's reaching for the beverage, he needs to reach for something a little bit further than the beverage, and then you get to find out what he's going to reach for.
He doesn't want me to say on air what he's going to reach for. But I will tell you, he's a very good roller.
Knows. He already knows.
Yeah, he's a very good roller. Like. Yeah.
Oh, I was going a different direction.
I know.
You were going towards rolling a joint. All right.
This is a cannabis podcast.
See, that's why it was an activity for him that Calandra then gets to find out what he reaches for.
Yeah, our mind went the same direction. I'm just gonna say, like,
all right.
It's a cannabis podcast.
It is.
Yeah.
Well,
we can talk about anything. We're not censored. We're not censored.
We're not censored at all. Especially with this guy.
And right there is when the censor box is going to pop up over one of our mouths when we edit it. You know what I mean? And we're like, we're not censored. And it's like...
Well, it's a podcast. I will tell you, somebody came in and bought a bunch of your stuff the other day.
Did they?
They did.
That's amazing.
They did.
I wonder who they were.
I don't know. They bought like four 4-packs.
I'm excited to try this.
You got to be almost out then. You got to re-up.
Yeah. And Mark did take... my Palmertine.
Did he steal your Palmertine?
He stole it, so I need.
What did he sell? What did he tell you about?
As soon as I said, look at Lance's new drink. He said, "Oh wow." He just
into it.
I want to know. So since we're talking about your drink,
sure.
And I love a good Arnie Palmer. I just had one yesterday with my dad. We went to the VA, and then afterwards he was like, "Let's stop and get an Arnie Palmer." Yeah. So what is in yours? What are give me the nutrition facts, all of the things.
Well, nutrition facts. I don't know about that, but
I need to know everything.
Less than 80 calories, near 20 grams of sugar, but it's organic cane sugar. So what it is it's lemontini. Mm-hmm. So it's half lemontini, and lemontini's billed as organic juice, organic cane sugar, touch of sea salt, water, citric acid, THC. That's it. So that's what lemontini is. It's pasteurized, so it's shelf stable. We're not using any of the kind of artificial junk or sweeteners or things like that, or even preservatives, right? We're keeping it as clean and as mean for you as we possibly can. And then I put organic black tea in the other half. And then we had to sweeten the tea just a little bit, kind of balance it a little. When you drink it out of the Calories sub 80, I think I said. I think it's like 76 or 78 or somewhere around there. And then, when it's, most folks are going to drink a half and half or an Arnie Palmer or what I call a Palmertini, right? It's going to be poured over a glass of ice, right? And I know everybody's going to mess with it. Everybody's going to go and add some sugar to the tea, add some this, add some that. Look at what we do to coffee. Look at what we do to spirits. Look at what we do to almost everything in our life, especially if it's a beverage. We're tinkering with it somehow. So I want it to stand up to ice when it's poured over it, and the ice is cold and the glass is warm and the Palmertini is warm. That experience is going to be just slightly different, just because it's a natural product, right? You've got natural inputs, so all of those things are going to change that little bit, even just based off of the temperatures. But that's what Palmertini is.
He did give me a sips. After
Oh yeah, you did
poured
try
in
it. You didn't have a
cup,
whole one.
It
Yeah.
sounds
this
really
tastes so
good.
good. Taste this, and I
There
taste.
we
I'm like,
went.
this does taste good. And he took the cup back and
10 milligrams
Finished it
THC?
off.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. 10
Yeah.
milligram. That's the level of cannabinoids that are there. I have rescue CBD so people can dose themselves that way. I want to meet people where they're at, and 10 milligrams of THC tells you what's going on pretty quick.
Tastes very good.
Love the idea of CBC. Love the idea of CBD being in a beverage. Love the idea of CBG, CBN, all of the fun things that people are out there doing. I'm just doing my best to not expand my SKUs. I know that there's money in expanding the SKUs, but I know that there's more fun in kind of focusing more on the core brands that you've built and do what you need to do there. So we'll play around with some seasonals too, like Olive Teeny is one that I'm working on. So something that's a little briny.
Wow.
That one, who knows what it'll end up being. I can't figure, brine is not something that you just get. You kind of have to buy the olives, and so then all of a sudden, are you making a olive spread with THC in it because you had a whole bunch of olives because you needed the brine? I don't know. We'll find out. You see what happens in my mind when I go and figure out that. That's why you got to focus on your main.
We could sit here forever and talk about. So my mind is going. You know how you can make a simple syrup that's infused.
Yep.
You know, I've had a couple of those are so good. So I'm thinking, could you do like an olive infusion?
You could.
You know, for a martini, for the people who like a traditional martini. You know, like you could infuse that olive brine,
Right.
and really make a neat product with something like that the liquor
All
stores.
sorts of stuff we can work with here.
Just an idea for somebody out there that I'm not going to do. Like, I got too many ideas.
I know, right?
You can't execute.
Everything.
That's the hard
You
thing
can't
about
execute
cannabis.
everything.
Yeah. And I think when you're a creative mind and spirit, there's so many potentials out there in the universe, you know? And so it's sort of, okay, what am my frequency? You know, I talk a lot. I'm really into sound as a healing modality and tool. And so I really think in terms of, okay, what frequency is for me? You know, should I make this or not? Or is it just an idea from collective consciousness that we were talking about earlier?
Yeah.
That's for somebody else to do. You know,
It'll keep knocking on your door, right? We were talking about the universe and how it's kind of sending us energy and like, oh, this is just this idea, and Sam was talking about how he writes those ideas down, and that's fantastic. I don't write those ideas down because I'm really not fantastic with lists or any of those things. It's like it's in my head. It keeps feeding to me, which is probably a bit of the challenge, is that I haven't figured out a system for myself. Well, I'm building systems for everything else. But it just comes back. And when it comes back, I'm like, all right, cool. Well, that's something that I have to pay attention to because it keeps coming back. And what I desire to do is reduce the number of times something has to come back to me. That's the kind of, for lack of a better term, the efficiency that I'm looking for in my thought process is, well, when do I have time to take care of that? How important is it? Make the decision pretty quickly right there and then move on to whatever the thing is that I need to do. But they're always flying in.
this idea for this magazine would not go away.
Yep.
You know,
That's when you know you got to do it.
It just came in one day in a meditation. You know, I was like, well, you know, what else? I was feeling creative, and I'm try to live very open. And I just had this picture so clear in my mind of a magazine, and I just kind of had hoped it would go away because I sort of knew that that's a pretty, it's a pretty robust build, and I've learned so much from Angelique just in terms of all of the moving parts of a magazine. And we just partnered with a circulation company, a distributor, and he said, well, Lynn, most magazines don't make it past 2 issues because it's so complicated, and working with the contributors and the works they're submitting, and then the distribution challenges, the circulation. And we experienced that ourselves and have now, found some good legs to get the magazine out. But yeah, it didn't go away. And so I just, 3 months just kind of sat with it. And then I was like, I just was like, okay, I'm going to roll with this and, just allow the people to come who can execute it the way it was meant to be.
Right.
Which is a community publication for all of us small businesses, and that's really what it turned out to be, so it's, I'm so grateful to Angelique that she said yes. And, she's just got such an eye for art. The art in this particular issue is just incredible. I've really never met anyone like her who had such an eye for beauty in print, but the ability to execute it and put it in the pages is so complicated. It's a process. I had no idea how much work laying out a magazine is, and to make it look like it looks. I think, you could do any variety of, just piecing things together, but the intention behind this magazine was really beauty, make it beauty in terms of community building, but also beauty in terms of how it feels, the look, the images in there, the stories of the businesses and the people, and the amount of education provided too by our educators, contributors. So
it's beautiful.
It is.
I love it. It
Beautiful
feels
magazine.
great.
Yeah, I can't wait to read the articles about sleep on vacation.
Calandra needs to sleep, so we're gonna wrap this bad boy up.
That sounds good.
Because Calandra doesn't need a nap; she needs to sleep, and she's still got a whole day ahead of her.
Well, thank you, Lance.
Yeah, of course.
Good
Thanks for getting in and having some fun with us.
Absolutely.
I mean, I know you were working on something special, and then you showed up, and now we're working on something special.
That's right.
All right.
All right.
Fantastic. Thank you.
thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.